Ready.
So, as said, we are two business students currently writing our bachelor thesis on business potential of blockchain technology. And we've already interviewed a few experts, but we don't have all the information we have. And then your name came up as someone with both deep expertise and strong voice in the crypto space. So we'd like to ask you some semi-structured questions about your view on blockchain and crypto.
Of course.
Yeah. So if we start a little bit about your background and perspective, can you briefly share your background in crypto and what you focus on today as a digital creator?
Buying Bitcoin in 2013. It was not with a lot of money, but still was able to purchase half a Bitcoin. And it went up to, I think, around $1,200 back in 2013. But I still made a lot of money from the initial investment, you know. So that was my first moment in time where I got very interested in Bitcoin, of course. And there were no altcoins back then. It was just Bitcoin, Bitcoin only. There was Dogecoin around, but not as prominent or popular as it is today. And the funny thing is, I just kept in touch with Bitcoin for a very long time. And then in 2017, started to get involved in altcoins. I've done a lot of companies that are involved with cryptocurrency. So I've built and sold Ethereum miners. You actually had to build them back in the day. I've sold Bitcoin miners, which are just like regular computers you can pretty much buy and sell. Installed these farms. I've made courses. I help people trade. I've built a community and I create educational videos online about market situations, but also how to safely use cryptocurrency in these kind of subjects.
Yeah. So you have a very deep knowledge about the topic.
Yeah, for sure. Very deep, very fast, very broad as well, and in different sectors as well. So it's not just the investing part or the trading part or the safety part or the e-commerce part. It's pretty much every layer I've had either a project or something I did in my experience.
Yeah, very interesting. So which business areas do you believe have the most potential to benefit from blockchain if we generalize it, everything? Can you give a real world example, maybe?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is Bitcoin is actually the first blockchain. So Bitcoin was invented because the way money is transferred was inefficient. It was slow, it was expensive, especially when you're looking at cross-border, right? Because back in the day, these days people seem to forget a little bit about how payments used to work. But if I were to transfer money from, let's say, the Netherlands to Japan, I would have to wait multiple days and pay immense fees, and I'm always at risk with a central party, which is the bank in this case. So blockchain was invented to solve what they call a double spending problem and to pretty much decentralize the way money is being transferred around the world. But then there were smart guys who said, okay, well, Bitcoin is solving the fact that we are able to move money, but finance is a whole lot more than just sending money. You can insure things, you can lend it out, you can borrow. There are more things to finance than just sending money. So that is when Ethereum and other decentralized finance platforms or protocols were invented, and how a lot of new tokens and cryptocurrency started to exist. The reason decentralized finance is so big is because this was the origin of blockchain. However, to answer your question, if you take a look what blockchain actually solves and where blockchain actually can be used for, it's a whole lot more than just finance. So, for example, what's trending right now are for example, tokenization, which is still kind of in the finance section, but there will be a future where even markets or niches, not sure what the English word is, but like specific branches of industries will benefit from blockchain, even though they might be hard to come comprehend right now. So the example I used to give is the internet is like a similar development for blockchain. Um, Back in the day, you had to call in to actually connect to the internet. You had to go to like some website, find on a shitty working Google some pizzeria nearby, get their phone number, still have to call to place your order. But now if I want to order pizza, I just open my phone, open an app, double tap my power button, and I paid for it. And someone will bring me a pizza. And you'll see the same development happening over time with blockchain and uh, where blockchain is at right now. So there will be a huge learning curve, but also development that will enable all branches in the world, all industries to use blockchain at a certain time. However, to give you real answers, the first things that are happening right now are tokenization. So let's say real estate, but also what a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges are doing right now is tokenizing stocks. So for example, Bybit this week launched tokenization of stocks. Kraken did the same, also a cryptocurrency exchange, and I think that many other exchanges will follow in this pursuit. So anything that can be divided in multiple parts, may it be real estate, may it be crowdsourcing, may it be crowdfunding, whatever, um, these things will be the next, I think, innovation in blockchain technologies. Uh,
Yeah.
but but what is already used a lot as well, but less common because people don't make money of it directly, is supply chain management as well. To be
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
able to track what a product is doing, where it's going, who it passed, what it's made from, whatever. You know, the entire flow of a product from farm to in the shelves. It could be anything. Authenticating if something is actually legit. There are so many use cases, and many more will come.
Yeah. Yeah. You really answered a lot there, both about supply technology and tokenization. I have questions about that, but
Hmm.
you gave me really good answers. Um, so, if we talk about a little bit about DeFi and maybe crypto as a payment method, as you mentioned, do you think companies are ready to adopt cryptocurrencies as a payment method, or do you think it's still risky or irrelated in some countries, or have you seen any good examples? I know, for example, stake or gambling, that's casinos, but they only use crypto
Hmm.
as payment methods. Do you have, yeah? What do you
Yeah,
think about?
it is a guess, of course, what I'm about to say, but what I believe is that I hear a lot of people say, it's not relevant to your question, but still to paint a picture, is a lot of people are saying that, for example, when you're comparing layer ones protocols, so like platforms, decentralized platforms where you can build decentralized apps on, like Ethereum, Sui, Solana, whatever, to name a few. A lot of people are saying there will only be like two or three, just like you have Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, for example, for your operating system of the computer. I
Yeah,
think that the future will look slightly different because it is a decentralized world. We will have decentralized systems that each um, help a specific niche. So there will be a layer one protocol for gaming. There will be one for fashion. There will be one for everything. There will be one for I don't know, for a tech shit. One for fashion. I already mentioned that one, but you get the point, right? So AI, they will all have like a sort of team that they will cater to. And when we're looking at payments, so are companies ready to accept payments? There are multiple ways a company can actually accept payments because right now I already have the Bybit payment card, the debit card on my phone. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I can pretty much
yeah, yeah,
scan. I pay with Bitcoin, but I can pay anywhere. So even though a company does not accept cryptocurrency per se, I am still able to pay with my Bitcoin. So um, that is one way for businesses to accept crypto. Just accept Visa or any credit card, and someone, a crypto enthusiast like me, is able to pay in crypto nonetheless. There's
yeah,
also a different way where companies should, for example, accept certain cryptocurrencies. So they could say, we accept Bitcoin, and you actually pay in Bitcoin and they receive Bitcoin. So right now, if I pay with this card, I pay in Bitcoin, but Bybit converts it to a stable coin, and that gets transferred in a fiat form to MasterCard or Visa. So
Yeah.
the merchant pretty much receives a fiat currency. Um, but he can also choose or opt in to receive a specific crypto. This, however, gives a merchant a certain risk if they
Yeah.
keep it in a crypto, because a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, whatever, Ethereum, you name them, XRP, whatever, all of them pretty much are able to have um, a volatility, you know. So
Yeah.
if they actually decide to receive this payment, they have a risk. And some companies that either have to purchase a product, buy stock, or whatever, they are then at risk of the volatility of this cryptocurrency. So that's a difficult one to do.
Yeah.
But there are also solutions where a company can accept any cryptocurrency and they instantly get a fiat currency. So reason why I spoke about the different kind of layers that will be there, I think the future of accepting crypto for companies will be the same. A company will be able to choose themselves how and if they are willing to accept crypto. And if they do not choose to accept crypto, someone with crypto like me is still able to pay in crypto, if you
Yeah.
follow my answer.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah. Yeah.
Victor.
Hello, nice to meet you. Sorry
Nice
for
to
being
meet you too.
late.
No,
I
no,
had
it's
some
fine. Don't worry.
technical issues.
Don't worry. It's fine.
Yeah. But my question to you then is, when you use that card you have now, do you pay some extra fees or anything because it doesn't accept crypto, but it uses your crypto to purchase something? If you
Yes.
understand what I
So
mean.
so right now the crypto exchanges are actually trying to onboard as many people as they can. So they actually reward you. So the first month I received a 10% cashback actually as well, which is a huge cashback for anyone that uses the link to subscribe or get the card. Right now, for me, because it has been more than a month, they give me a 2% cashback.
Hmm?
However, in the future, they will earn on the volume and also on the conversion of the cryptocurrency to a fiat, because that's the revenue model of an exchange. So, in a way, they they also are able to convert for less than a traditional way of payment, because they offer all trading pairs there are. So if I want to convert to euro or USD, whatever, or even a stock, for example, they have the liquidity, they have the trading pairs. So I think that the crypto exchanges are the banks of the future. This is also why I think that a lot of crypto exchanges and crypto industry as a whole has been under so much fire and suppression over the last few years. Now with Trump, we're seeing an actual change, but before Trump, it was actually pretty hard for crypto entrepreneurs to have a business at all. And that's because the banks were losing from crypto pretty much. And the crypto exchanges still are the new banks, but they will both enter each other's markets. So you will see bank offering crypto services and crypto services offer banking services
Yeah. Yeah.
in the future.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very good. But how is it in Japan, where you're at right now? What's
Uh,
their thoughts on blockchain and cryptocurrency
Yeah,
use?
so I went to a crypto event to ask questions what they think. It is actually interesting to me to see that each country always has their own set of favorites. But there are some very big trends right now for Japan, because one of them is that Meta Planet, which is pretty much the Japanese strategy from Michael Saylor, the Bitcoin treasury company. Their stock is going insane because they're buying so much Bitcoin. Actually, today or yesterday, it went up by by a lot. It went from maybe $1 a few months ago to $20 in stocks. This is insane. It's like a 20x on your investment. It went down a little bit now again to 10 or 12. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked at the charts today, but so that's very interesting. At the same time, you can see that the Japanese government pretty much is imploding as well, because they're having some difficulties with their bonds and these kind of things. Metaplan, at the same company, is being shorted like crazy right now. So there are so many people trying to short the stock. But these are all traditional investors who don't understand crypto fully yet, because they will lose, just like people try to short Strategy, the company of Michael Saylor. They will all get liquidated or lose their positions or get flushed out, because Bitcoin is the answer. Bitcoin will win. Bitcoin will up, and especially the upcoming days, I think we will see much higher prices. Of course, it can go down. Don't get me wrong. It will go down. It will correct every now and then, but it will go up for quite some time from now. We also hit all-time high. What, from my experience, they pretty much like the safer bet. So XRP is big in Japan. I've learned that there were some coins. I think it was Sui that actually started out in Osaka at some point. So the crypto is getting bigger here. They are changing. They are trying to be more proactive with it, but at the same time, a lot of feedback that I got from interviewing people at this event is that the Japanese government is really slow in making these changes and actually adopting it. So I think that the Japanese people are well aware of crypto, starting to believe in it more, especially the people in the industry. However, the government in Japan is, from what I hear, very slow, and they might be too late. And to quote some guy I interviewed, he said, in Japan, they were first in Web 1, they missed Web 2 completely, so now they need Web 3. And I think that's a great estimate of the current situation in Japan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And compared to Europe, what do you think about Europe? You're from the Netherlands. We're from Sweden. I know in Sweden it's very regulated currently. Compared to Europe, how do you think Europe is in this discussion?
Europe is on a downhill slope for a long time. It's actually why I left Europe. Europe is lost. Europe is corrupt, and Europe will be a third world country or a continent in a few years, if they do not change, if they do not kick out von der Leyen, the commissioner of the European Union, if they continue with mass immigration, if they don't close the borders, if they don't tackle inflation, Europe is lost. And at the same time, while Trump, for example, was banning central banking digital currencies, and now I think it was one state, don't quote me on which one, I believe it was Michigan, but I'm not too sure. They're actually banning CBDCs, and in Europe they're trying to roll this out. So digital euro, central banking digital currency, whatever you want to name it, they will roll it out in October of this year. Which is, I compare it with the financial vaccination. I'm not too sure how you guys stand these kind of subjects, but I think that you should avoid it at all costs, prevent it as much as you can. It is a loss of privacy, it is a loss of control, and they will just use it to in the end disadvantage you. Also, Europe is, in a way, they are doing some great things with regulations, because they got the MiCA, which is the markets in crypto assets regulations, which is like a framework for the entire Europe on how companies should act in crypto. So, for example, if you're a crypto exchange, what are the rules and regulations? This is a little bit better than how the current situation is in America, because there they were what was I forgot the sentence, but they are pretty much suing everybody to get them to comply, or they had no clear framework, is what I'm trying to say. Now Trump is changing that. They got a new head of the SEC. They're working very hard to get this done, but Europe is ahead in their legislation a little bit. However, I do think that they're not on the right path. The United States will now catch up on Europe, and I think other parts of the world, for example, Dubai, the Emirates, pretty much, other parts in the world are much more open and attracting much more crypto business. So right now, Dubai is pretty much the place to be for many crypto people, companies, and these kind of things because they have tax benefits, they have clear rules, they have the freedom to operate. So a lot of people choose to go there, and I think this trend will change. Europe will be last. All other countries that are actually buying Bitcoin and open for regulations will be second, and America will be first. I'm a huge Trump fan and believer in the things he's doing right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And like in the business side of things, do you know if it will be like good for competitors to like be first in this? Like,
What kind of competitors? Sorry.
like if you are a company, is it good for you to like be first in Bitcoin and everything?
Of course.
Like it's a disadvantage if you be late.
Yeah, to give
If you
you an
know.
example, maybe it even was Sweden, but I could be mistaken. But there was wait, I posted it today. I can look it up real quick for you if you don't mind. But right now, what is very much trending in well, pretty much the stock market, is that a lot of companies are now implementing the yeah, it was Sweden. So in your country, there's the H100 Group, and they bought 4 Bitcoin, which is not a lot of money, but still, with this purchase, and it was announced today or yesterday, they became the first publicly listed Bitcoin treasury company. So it could be very interesting for you guys to speak with those guys as well, because it's they chose to be the first in Sweden, and I think you will see this trend happening upcoming days, upcoming weeks, with a lot of companies in a lot of countries. We have been predicting this development for a long time. We've been saying that a lot of that Michael Saylor will get competitors in the future. So basically, Bitcoin treasury companies. Right now, they're shooting like mushrooms out of the ground. I think there are about 85 companies doing the same worldwide. Of publicly listed companies that are buying Bitcoin with their treasury, basically. Um, there are conversations of GameStop. So now the ones that get a lot of attention are GameStop because they have billions to invest. Strategy, of course, 21 Capital, a company by forgot his name, Jack Mallers or something. Um, these are the big names, but an interesting fact is to see that, for example, in Brazil, one company launched. They were the first, and they're going fast. MetaPlanet, which I talked about before, the Japanese one, they're going fast. And now you can see the trend because I shared it. Because these companies they buy like 10,000 Bitcoin at once. But what I found so interesting about the Sweden company is that they are just buying 4 Bitcoin, which is like 400,000. So compared to like millions you invest instantly in Bitcoin, you are not necessarily the biggest, but you are the first. So I'm very curious to see what will happen with this specific company because they are in fact the first. I can only guess. I do think that it is smart to be the first in your country. Um, but I think that it's always like you have the first mover advantage, right? So the first one, they get pretty much half of the market or whatever, you know. It was pretty much the same with when the spot ETFs for Bitcoin launched. BlackRock pretty much got all of it. And then there are others that you can invest into also. And I think that companies that offer this the first, but actually be the first, they have a huge advantage to others. Yes, 100%.
Yeah. What was the company's name here from Sweden? Can you name it again?
Yeah, it was H100 Group. I'm not sure what kind. Yeah, H100. So it's how. Yeah, I can type it in chat if you want.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And of course, we have to see if they actually flourish and do something. But right now, I'm seeing a trend with all these Bitcoin treasury companies. They're saying that these are the new meme coins in a way because all their stocks are going crazy right now. So if you want to make a quick buck, of course, you can lose. It's not a definite recipe for success, but right now a lot of people are making money with these stocks. Like today.
Yeah. Okay, so how much time do we have left now?
You can just take your time, and it's fine.
Okay. So one topic that we haven't discussed yet, we just want to hear your opinion on a little bit about smart contracts as well. And we talked about supply chain management and transparency and security, and smart contracts and supply chain management. It leads to automation, as I have understand it, and Victor as well.
Yes.
So what are the most promising use cases for smart contract in business operations? I think it's supply chain management. Or do you have anything other you can?
Yeah, that's what I tried to illustrate before. So what I tried to say with the pizza ordering example is that when internet was recently invented, they weren't thinking about a digital device you hold in your hand and you press it 3 times and someone comes to deliver a pizza. So blockchain will develop in certain ways we cannot even think or comprehend right now. It will be such an exponential invention. It will make so much sense in like 10 years, but right now we're not even looking at it. However, I think that we will see a integrally digitally connected world in the future. So one of the examples I like to give a lot is that, for example, GTA 6 is coming out next year, right? In May. Already set the date, took the time off.
Yeah, I hope so, yeah.
You never know.
What we're hoping for, in a way, is that they have crypto enabled, because if they do, it will be the biggest power play ever. If they don't, it doesn't matter. But still, let's pretend that GTA 6 will have NFTs and crypto, right? You will have a future where you are able to do a heist in GTA 6, for example, get a certain achievement, which is also an NFT, which gives you access or a discount in another store, which is in the physical world. But then if you purchase something there, you might get a certain item or something you can use in other games as well. It will all be connected. So let's say you get a skin in Call of Duty, you are also able to equip it in GTA 6. But if you purchase something that is environmental friendly or fair trade, and you do these kind of things, it might give you a benefit somewhere else, But at the same time, this could also give a certain danger. So when I was talking about the central banking digital currencies before, right now in Europe, they're also talking about like these CO2 credits or whatever, if you waste too much carbon oxide, then you might not be allowed to purchase meat in a grocery store. Or if you go to a festival, you might not be able to go on vacation that same month, So it can have restrictions, but it can also be very open and very free. It sort of depends on which direction governments choose to go with this. But I think that the first industries that will flourish are, of course, supply chain management, tokenization, the real world assets, pretty much. I think AI, but I also think the layer ones. But these are like the already existing industries or categories you can pretty much choose a crypto to invest in right now. So they are not the new ones. However, they are still not adopted or used by a lot of companies who could have a great benefit to it. So these are the most obvious industries. They will be very big because they're right now the most easy to understand. But I predict and think that there will be many, many more innovations and connections that will be made through Bitcoin. Blockchain.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very in-depth answer, and it's very good. Yeah, we talked about as well about tokenization, as you said, real estate and assets and everything like that.
Yeah, what is the benefits like if you take tokenization, for example? What are the benefits for like companies to tokenize their assets?
Well, there are many, and the best one is that there is no third party. So if you choose to tokenize something, um, you can just trust code. So you no longer need a third party like a notary for real estate or a exchange for stocks, or a crowdfunding website to collect some money, to or a museum to divide art. I don't know. There could be many examples of tokenizations, and again, these are just the tip of the iceberg because um, it could pretty much be anything, But the huge advantage is lower fees, no third party, and also world worldwide availability. So a lot of people there, they really, it is not necessarily tokenization related, but I do think that a lot of people highly underestimate how much Bitcoin will be worth in the future, because we've never seen something that is so scarce and so globally, digitally available with one click of a button worldwide for the entire population. So to give you an example, if we're talking about stocks or we're talking about real estate, they're bound to a certain location. For example, they can be built more in a certain area. Fiat currency is printed, but gold can be found. There are even some messages that now they were able to turn a particle of lead into gold, so it will be a matter of time before they can create gold as well. They find it, it can drop from a planet. Nothing is actually scarce and available for the entire population of the world with just an internet connection as Bitcoin. And tokenization pretty much does the same. So let's say we all want to um, build. So let's say I have an idea, right? I give you a business plan or whatever, I put it on my website, and I want to build a new real estate building, like some apartment complex or whatever. The old way, I would have to collect investors who all need to have a certain amount of money because it is real estate and you need to do all these checks. But now I can just create some code, allow anyone to enter, and it will all be registered perfectly fine. And we are all able to invest in the same ID. No matter if you live in Sweden or someone in China or someone in the Netherlands or Japan, we all just send over the money. There's no third party check or whatever, there's no bank asking you what you're doing. You just transfer it, it is done, and it is all honest, transparent, and that's the future, man. It is so much better than anything out there.
And if you were running a business today, which assets would you tokenize if you would choose one?
If I were running a business today, which assets would I tokenize? Well, I'm a huge fan of real estate tokenization. So what I said before, I think this is one of the most understandable use cases as well, because it is easy to grasp for people. Real estate is expensive if you want to buy it yourself. Everyone pretty much, at least the traditional finance guys, they believe in real estate. Um, but there's always some difficulty to it. You need to lend money, you need a mortgage, you need this, you need that, blah blah blah. But with tokenization, you can just easily divide the money and get people excited about the same thing. So I think this one is the most prominent one. um, Personally, I had been thinking about, because I used to sell miners. I told that to your friend before you were on. I used to
Yeah.
sell miners, and the thing is, what I did quite recently was a Bitcoin miner to paint a picture for your for context. Um, it is about, let's say, about 20,000 euros for the purchase of the equipment, but also the power it uses for a period of 2 years. Um, so um, to invest in Bitcoin mining yourself can be quite costly for a lot of people. However, if I look at the people who follow me on social media or in my community or whatever, they have a few $1,000. Some of course have more money than others, but a lot of people they have like 50K in their wallet, you know. Um, but to spend like 10K on investment just on Bitcoin to do mining, which is like diversifying your Bitcoin exposure in the first place, it's a lot in one go, you know. So what I did is say, okay, we know that a Bitcoin miner costs this much. We know that the power costs this much. Instead of buying one yourself, let's group up a group a pool of people of like 20 to 40 people for this miner. You just invest €500 and you're able to mine. Of course, the return on investment is relevant to the amount you put in. If you put in 10,000, it is, you know, it's a percentage that you earn. But this allows people to start mining, but not invest a lot of money by yourself. So if I were to do tokenization, I think it would be in this direction where you are able to purchase a part of a miner and then get a dividend after a period of time based on the tokens you hold. I think that's a wonderful idea, and I think a lot of people will be interested in it if it doesn't exist yet. But I'm pretty sure that it does exist, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you gone through like supply chain management and so on, Nicola?
Yeah, we've talked about supply chain management as well. One of the crypto experts we talked about, he said something about VeChain. You know, the QR code you scan. What you have to say about that? Do you have any insight?
I'm not too sure about what VeChain is doing right now. I do believe that they upgraded from supply chain management to a whole lot more,
Sure.
because they now are also like a sustainability kind of thing or something. But I've read about it a long time ago, so I couldn't quite tell you. However, there are many more who do similar things in supply chain management. Can't really recall any name right now, but you can pretty much look them on CoinMarketCap or whatever, just search for the category. Um, but I do believe that this is a very important thing for companies to have. But I also read that nothing is waterproof or bulletproof or whatever you say it, you know. So what I mean by that is that even though it is blockchain, it could still be manipulated or cheated. You know, it is not necessarily a fail-proof system, but I do think that it's a way better system than that currently exists, especially if you want to expand on it in the future, because everything is standardized and um, yeah, that is what I want to say.
Yeah, very good. And to recap for Victor, we talked about crypto as a payment method. We did that when you came in. Smart contracts, decentralization, we also mentioned. So,
Okay.
yeah, so now you have a hang on it.
Okay. So the next topic is like for the future, and you already like mentioned a lot of things like what it takes to make like blockchain and cryptocurrencies like more available in the future, like the regulation and simple tools. But like if a company wants to get started with blockchain today, what is like the easiest entry points? Is it like NFTs, DeFi, crypto payments, or like smart contracts, or even supply chain management?
If a company wants to get started on blockchain, where do they start? Is what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it really depends on the problem they have, right? I used to study entrepreneurship, so it's kind of related to what you guys are doing, I'm guessing. But what I've always learned is that it always starts with a problem, and then you try to build a solution around it instead of taking the solution and trying to put it in a company or whatever, you know. So I wouldn't necessarily say that a company needs to start at the solution, which could be DeFi or an NFT or whatever. I think you should look at the problems that they might have, which they are not aware of, because that's the thing right now, right? Everyone does something with the old ways or the traditional way, so they don't know that doing something with blockchain technologies or NFTs or whatever gives them extra benefits or growth in the future. To name an example, I know a lot of companies right now who are selling tickets. It might be a festival ticket, it might be an event ticket, it might be whatever. They are slowly changing this to NFTs, because you can always prove or say that you went to a certain event, which is cool. Because if I go to Tomorrowland or some cool festival, I would like to share that. I'm posting the pictures on my Instagram, so why aren't I showing it on my digital ID or my digital profile, right? Um, and then to loop back to an earlier conversation, let's say I go to Tomorrowland in Brazil, which was actually sponsored by Bybit as well. Um, let's say I go there. I get an NFT because I went there, or approval of attendance protocol, whatever. But because I went to this special event, I now get a special skin in my favorite game, or I get a discount somewhere else. And this is the way I was talking about before, how everything in the future will connect or have an extra benefit to you. Because if I go to Tomorrowland, or let's keep it in business, you know. Let's say I go to 10 crypto events, I might get a badge. So if someone meets me online or meets me at an event, he can pretty much scan my ID or whatever, use AR or virtual reality or a badge. I don't know. I don't know how the future looks, but they can see, oh, this guy must be pretty well connected because he went to 10 other events. And in fact, he was able to purchase a special t-shirt in real life that no one else is able to purchase if they don't do all these things. So I think that it kind of depends on what sort of company a company is. And for that specific company, I would look at what they could improve. But I do think that almost every company, in a way, can benefit from the technologies that are being developed right now. Um, just like everyone, because if you're writing a text now, you're stupid. You know, you're transcribing this call right now automatically. If
Yeah.
you were to write this down manually, the entire thing, you're stupid. Everybody will go with the innovation or the new technology. You know, it's just the logical thing to do. Um, that being said, I also believe that there will be a use case for the old way as well. So to give you an example, um, if you look at payments, to keep it the simplest thing, right? We have blockchain technology and we have the regular centralized way of doing finance, so a bank or whatever. Um, Me personally, I would like to hold self custody over my assets. I don't want a third party to ask questions about it. I don't want them to be able to freeze it. I don't want to have anything to do with a centralized party, maybe a government, a bank, or whatever, that can tell me what I can or cannot do with this money, or ask questions about it in the first place. However, if I get hacked or I lose it, I have nowhere else to go. It's just me, because I am choosing for self custody. If I'm looking at my grandmother, my grandfather, whatever, they need a bank. They need to be able to call someone, call a hotline, support line, ask questions, get a coffee there, get informed by a banker if they want to do an extra account or whatever, you know. So there will be more options in the future. And I believe that a lot of companies will have major benefits to embracing new technologies, but this does not necessarily mean that the old way will vanish completely.
Yeah. Because the as you said, the old way, you still need because of our grandparents and stuff like that. But when we grew old, maybe the new old way will be what we have now. You know.
Yes, of course, of course. And a robot will
So,
help you either way, you know.
exactly. So it's also a generational thing that
Yes.
companies need to adapt to
Yep.
in the development as
Yep.
well.
Yep. Yep. But even people from our age, you know, some people might just
Yeah.
prefer to be able to just have it on a platform, having the ability to access customer support or whatever, you know. And I guess that there's a use case for everybody because, for example, I value my privacy very much, but others might not care so much, and they might actually start to use and like a central banking digital currency, and they much rather have that someone else decides for them if they're allowed to buy meat or not. You know, you have these people always.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So if you could give just one piece of advice to a CEO of a company
Hmm.
considering blockchain, what would it be?
I
It's a
would
similar
say
question. Yeah.
I would say don't be scared. Um, Look at blockchain technology like the new internet, like AI. There has never been a case in the recent history where a new submerging technology wasn't exponentially better than what there was before. There's no one riding a horse right now because they prefer horses or it was the old way. They all drive fucking cars, which drive themselves these days. Um, so this is a new technology. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it, study it, try it. Start simply with Bitcoin to get familiar with the technology. Um, and I actually thought the question was very, very smart of you guys. Try to be one of the first because the sooner you embrace it, you will have to convert either way because every company that didn't embrace the internet now is nowhere to be found. There's no Blockbuster anymore. Netflix killed it. The taxi driver is having Uber installed on his phone. It's just a matter of time. So the longer you wait, the faster you will fall behind. Study it, embrace it, and you will love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good advice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
100%.
Now let's hope they
So
listen.
yeah. So currently the biggest problem for companies and it's the knowledge gap. If I'm
Yeah, for sure.
yeah
A knowledge
yeah
gap, but also because you know that's the irony of blockchain and crypto is and which is something we predicted as well. I'm not sure if you guys followed us at all on social media, but we were saying for many years that Bitcoin is the answer. I've been preaching this. I've been involved in Bitcoin since 2013, but I've been preaching this to everyone I know since 2017, which was a
yeah
year where you still had to fucking explain what Bitcoin was, you know. So right now everyone has an opinion. Back then no one knew what a Bitcoin was. Still had to explain. I have been saying, don't be afraid of what the media or the banks tell you, or the people who control the world. No matter which layer you want to go, you can go as deep as you want. But the media, they will say that Bitcoin is dangerous, that it is for criminals, that it is whatever. You heard all the stories, bad for the environment, blah, blah, blah. However, as soon as they see that they cannot kill it, which they tried in 2021, they failed, or 2022, they failed, then they have no other choice but to embrace it. If you can't beat them, join them. That's exactly what they did. So, fast forward another year or maybe two, um, they got the spot ETF for Bitcoin. Now, institutional investors are allowed to purchase Bitcoin. And we said as soon as this spot ETF goes live, you will see a change of narrative in the media. They will suddenly call it the best investment ever, the best asset, like we have always been saying. But now, the media and the big guys in money, so the banks, the governments, the whatever, they will slowly start to say the same thing. And fast forward today, I think even Jamie Dimon, which is the CEO of JP Morgan, is now allowing customers to purchase Bitcoin They have been screaming since 2017 that Bitcoin was a scam and that they would fire anyone in their company if they even hold it. Not even promoted it or talked about it. If they hold it, you would get fired. BlackRock now is preaching it like it is the answer that everyone has been looking for. Trump is saying this, it might solve government debt, the trillions in debt they have. So everyone who was at first saying Bitcoin was bad now is positive about it. They are embracing it, and you should join before they actually go for it. Now they're slowly starting to do it, but the longer you wait, as well in Bitcoin, the farther you fall behind.
Yeah, yeah. So in the thesis, is it okay if we use your name, or do you have any alias or anything? What
No,
you
you can put
prefer?
both. Mike Hoogland, Bitconing, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And if you want, we can send you a final, the final thesis as well, so you can
I'm
read
curious
it.
what you guys made, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like just to, for the closing question, is there anything important we haven't touched that you think deserves attention in this thesis?
Great question. I actually like this interview because you asked valid questions, broad questions. So I think I touched base on a lot of things, but I do think that if I were to continue a little bit on what I just said, is that you guys right now are looking at, I think, a supply chain management solution because you're kind of asking questions in this direction. Um, I think this is a necessity. I think that blockchain technologies will be big and have huge impact on the world. But don't forget Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, even today, when it's at $111,000, something like this, even at the current prices, it's still at a massive discount. And people forget that there are only 21 million Bitcoin and 8 billion, which is 8,000 million people around the world. It is globally available. Everyone can buy it with one click. Supply is running out. There's only 2 million left. And once the spot ETF got launched, 1 million vanished in a year time. The last 40 years that Bitcoin can be mined, they're just mining one Bitcoin over a period of 40 years. Bitcoin can still, today, set you for life. And people think that they are too late, that the price is too high, but they don't fundamentally understand what Bitcoin is, the problem it solves, the issue money currently has, and how early we still all are. And this final gap where all risk is off, because the only risk there ever was that governments would fight it to the bitter end, that the banks would prevent it. All this changed the last few months, let's say the last 6-7 months. So we are now in a very interesting time where you are still ahead of countries buying, ahead of most companies buying, but at the same time, all risk vanished. So don't think you're too late. Keep doing what your guy's doing, but buy Bitcoin every day. Even maybe 10 euros. Just buy it, because a lot of people, they underestimate the effect it will have over time. And the tens of euros you put in today, I'm not saying you will get rich this year. I'm not saying you'll get rich 2030. But I'm sure that by the time you guys have kids, they will be very grateful for the tens of euros, so not just thousands, but like literally the tens, the tenors, or the how you say, like the less every day the 10 euro you would put in, it will be such a value. It is hard to comprehend. And to elaborate a little bit further on that is that I hear a lot of people, they say in my comments, or they ask me, but why doesn't everybody do it if it is so easy? It's because no one believes this. They're
Yeah.
still asleep. They're not doing it. Because if everyone who formed an opinion about Bitcoin actually did what I'm saying, it would be finished. There would be none left. So people are not activated, and I also show in my community and these kind of things the charts. Right now, you can actually see in the data that everyone with multiple millions is buying right now. So big money, as I call them, big money is buying, and retail at home, the people like you and me, they're not buying. They're not interested. They don't care. They're still behind. They don't know the current developments in Bitcoin. So if you want wealth for your kids, buy Bitcoin even today. And if you want cash flow or a great solution for the near future, continue to do what you're doing and find companies that want to implement this technology or whatever. I think that's um, a great occupation to have in the meantime. But don't underestimate and forget Bitcoin, because a lot of people, even in my community or the people I talk about or the people in the crypto industry, they get hung up about on the altcoins or the solutions, which is great, and we need that. We need development. We need the adoption. So doing something in your sector is amazing. Keep doing it. We need people like you, but don't forget about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the answer, and Bitcoin will be salvation for most.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's partly why we choose this topic to write about in our thesis,
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
like make it more like not so like misunderstand or something like that
Yeah, for sure.
about technology and Bitcoin.
It's great. I can talk about it for hours about these things because
Yeah.
there's so many
Yeah,
layers to it.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's so interesting as well when you hear it from someone like you. It's so when you read a research article or something on the internet, it's so misguiding as well, and misleading.
Of
So
course.
yeah. They
yeah.
also focus on like the problems with it
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, like we
I
said
think.
before, this thesis is about the positive things, like
Yeah.
the
Yes.
potential.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. And it's all because in current times there's information warfare, and we noticed this with the pandemic. But there's so much misinformation and propaganda, which was made legal in like 2008 or 13, I forgot which year, by Obama, where it is actually allowed for the government to lie to their citizens, to pretty much um get them to agree on certain things. And the problem is that the West is so corrupt, but we kind of get indoctrinated by false information, and because it's done at such a large scale, people believe the wrong information. And people are saying that I'm crazy and that I'm wrong for since 2013 when Bitcoin was $100, but now I laugh at them because Bitcoin is more than $100,000 right now. So in the end, believe in the innovation, believe in the code, believe in the potential, like you're saying, and um, actually take the time to dive deeper, because it is actually solving something, and there's actually a huge problem. And um, most of the times when you touch these subjects, you get called a conspiracy theorist or whatever real quick, because you are actually attacking something that is so fundamentally hidden and so corrupt that most people are either unaware, or they simply choose to put their heads in the sand, or they don't want to believe it, because if what I'm saying is true, then their whole life has been a lie. And these are difficult realities for people to accept. But I do think that with the global fraud of the COVID pandemic, I think a lot of people are starting to wake up, where they're now open to the idea that, in fact, the government doesn't love you. You're a slave in a system. You are purposely held small. You are made to generate and work and then die. You literally are a slave in the matrix. And I know that a lot of like guys like Andrew Tate and these people, they say like break free of the matrix, right? But in a way, it is such a great um, and how you say analogy, because if you were to watch the movie today, it would it has such great quotes, because the deeper someone is in the system, the harder they will fight to protect it. These kind of things, and they're so true to what's happening today. Um, but people choose to
Choose
not
to not
understand,
understand.
and it's just a matter of time before we win again, and Bitcoin will go to multiple millions. I think Bitcoin will go to hundreds of millions even. I'm not saying it will happen this cycle, not saying it will happen in 2030, but it will happen at some point. And people will look back at today's prices even, and they'll just hate themselves forever because they thought they were late, but they were in the first 16 years of a new emerging technology, a change of the way how people transact, a new form of money, where older currencies have a lifespan of around 200 years. You're at the first 16, where now finally people are starting to accept it and get it regulated and these kind of things. They are still so early, but they get sour and they choose to believe the media and false reports, like you say.
Yeah. Okay, so off the transcript now. If we want to start with Bitcoin and investing in cryptocurrencies, as you said, is it the way that you described before, that you buy $10 here and there in Bitcoin and then you build it up, or how do you start? I mean, do you use Coinbase or Bybit or
Yeah, yeah.
what?
So great question. I have it is Dutch, so it's hard for you guys to understand, or
Yeah.
perhaps you can put on subtitles. But I have like a free learning environment with 50 hours where I explain these subjects. So where to start, what to pay attention, what are the dangers, what are the risks. There, it is a free from A to Z plan where I explain everything: investing, my game plan, my strategies, my exit strategies, my market anticipations. Anything most guys charge thousands of dollars for, I put out for free, because I think um, it is actually something people should be aware of right now. However, if you're completely new and you cannot understand my learning environment because I talk in Dutch pretty much, so for you guys, what I would do is I would start the same way what my mother is doing right now. My mother, she is an older woman, of course. She doesn't understand crypto too much. She doesn't want to sit in front of the charts, but I did want her to get involved. So I told her the same advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm still going to give you the same advice that I gave my mother. Is if you um, if you don't want to be involved that much as I am, sitting in front of the chart every day, learning each new coin or whatever, just do the following: make a Bybit account. I can send you guys a link, or I put it in the video description or whatever. Create an account, and on here you are able to set a recurring buy. Um, I'm not sure if you could actually put it daily, but I'm sure you can put weekly and monthly on Bybit. I'm doing it daily on a different exchange, but I wouldn't recommend that one anymore. Um, just purchase Bitcoin on a weekly, or if you can, daily basis. And if it's €10 or 50 or whatever your budget may fit, just purchase it every day and see it as an investment over time. Don't expect to get rich this year. Expect it, in fact, to go down 50% maybe in 2 years' time. Maybe every money you're putting in now for the next 2 years, it will go down 80%. Don't care, just keep stacking the Bitcoin. Buy
Yeah.
it every day, every week, and keep buying it for a long time. And with a long time, I'm like saying 5 or even 10 years, and that's not even that long, but just buy it over time. Don't care what the price is, just get your hands on it. That would be the first step. Get a Bybit account, set the recurring buys, and then if you're interested and you actually care about it, then I would suggest to maybe get involved with other altcoins as well. But to get the same passion I have, I think it all starts with understanding what money is, how money works, why Bitcoin is actually a solution, how blockchain technology fundamentally works, what the solution is, why it actually is such a special thing. And then you should really start to look at these two things, and it is scarcity and decentralization, which are two of the many factors Bitcoin has, right? It's transparent, blah, blah, blah. But the decentralization aspect of it is so powerful. And it took me actually quite some years to actually understand how impressively powerful decentralization is. And I've heard it so many times, I've read it so many times, but when it actually clicked in my head, um, it's like my whole world changed, you know. And the same goes for the scarcity. There's no asset in the history of mankind that has ever been as scarce and digitally available at the same time, or even as scarce as Bitcoin. Because everything that mankind considers to be scarce is in fact not scarce. Because buildings can be built, you can move locations, gold can be found, it can drop off a planet, they can create it in the future. Even diamonds are lab fabricated these days. Fiat currency for sure isn't scarce. Stocks can be made extra. There's nothing in this world that is actually scarce, let alone digitally available worldwide for anyone to buy, and there's only 21 million of them on a world with 8 billion people. It is so scarce, people have no idea. It is like you know, I'm just doing one thing in my life right now, and that's trying to make as much money so I can sell my fiat and get the true asset, which is Bitcoin.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we have like in Sweden, like an app when you buy like stocks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And on there you can buy like not the actual Bitcoin or not like the actual XRP, but you can get like the paper of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like an
You
ETF
can
or
buy
an
like a
ETF.
part. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So that's what I've been starting to doing a little bit because there's no taxes on that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about the tax situation in Sweden, so you should, check it for yourself. But um,
If you buy the real one.
I would definitely buy the real one. And um, I also think that it is cheaper. So it is an assumption. I'm not sure which exchange you are using, but you're always paying transaction fees.
Yeah.
Sorry, and Bybit is one of the parties with the lowest fees for these transactions. Um, so I would definitely check what you're paying right now, because sometimes people are paying with these ETFs like 1% transaction fees or something like this. So you could save like 80% on your fees. And over time, when Bitcoin is in fact worth hundreds of millions, you will think back about these fees, you know? They
Yeah.
might not make a lot of sense now, but they will be worth many, many beautiful cars in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have demo trading as well, which is good for me, who don't have any expertise.
Yes, if you want to trade,
Yeah.
you could do that, but trading is difficult. It is like an actual profession, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, People usually are terrible at it, so I would start with investing.
Okay. Yeah.
Just being honest,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we have like tragics and coaching courses, and it takes like 3-4 months for people to understand the basis, and then usually they still suck, So it takes about, let's say, 6 months to a year to get profitable in trading, I would say. Sometimes people they're good at it, naturally, and then they start to make money real quick. But on average, don't underestimate it. Don't play with leverage and margin. Stick with spot, because it just gets more advanced if you do these things. Um, but start with just purchasing Bitcoin. And if you like that and you understand it, then try to put your feet in water of other things to do, like trading. Because I trade myself, I love it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but be careful with it, because people get discouraged if they lose money on the markets and then they exit completely. And I much rather have you buy Bitcoin, be safe, and keep your Bitcoin than that you were to trade and lose everything.
Yeah. Good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we only have like 2 minutes of the call left, but
Yeah, because it's the free version. But the best interview we've had.
yeah, it was perfect.
Very good. Thank you very much for the help and the insight.
Thank you,
And
guys.
we will send you the thesis when it's done. And we can make an English version of it as well, so you can understand it.
That's
if you don't
perfect, man.
understand Swedish.
Yeah, or I put it in ChatGPT, man. It's fine. Just it doesn't matter. Anyway, guys, I wish you the best of luck. If you have any questions now or in the future, just send me a message and schedule something else. And I wish you the best of luck with your thesis, guys.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
All right.
Have a nice week.
Have a nice.
Bye.
You too. Bye bye. Peace.
Bye.